Hi guys, thanks for joining me on Making with Marilyn. Now it is a bitter cold Saturday in Kansas, so it's time to make a project. I'm going to use this Dollar Tree trivet or cutting board, whatever you want to use it for. It's round, they also have square. And then on the bottom side of this, I'm going to cut a design out of this really pretty vinyl. Now this is just stick-on vinyl. It's not heat transfer vinyl. And as the video progresses, I'll show you more about this. For the first time ever, I'm going to try this rapid tack for a wet application method, and we'll see how that goes. Again, I've never used it before. I haven't even tested it out. And then I have some alcohol to clean the gunk off the back of this after I remove these little feet. I have this little, I don't know, little tool to help remove the feet. Now in a prior video I said I probably wouldn't use metal. I've seen tons of people using metal. Works out okay, so I'm going to try that. A weeding tool to weed my vinyl, a ruler, and some paper towels. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. I have my Dollar Tree cutting board or trivet. Let's go ahead and take the plastic off of that. And then it has these little rubber feet on the bottom. So I'm going to slightly get my metal spatula under it so I can grab it and then just lift it up. Now I'll set these aside so I can reuse them, but you may notice that there is some gunk left behind, so we want to make sure and get that cleaned off. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this to the sink, use a little bit of soapy water. I can tell there's some residue left, and I'll remove the rest of that. Alright, that should be nice and dry by the time we cut. Now I want to show you the back of this vinyl because the back of the vinyl is what's going to show through the glass. And if you're going to use adhesive vinyl, you just need to make sure that what you're using has a really pretty back. So as I pull the backing off, you can see the back looks just like the front on this. That's why I like to use this. It's beautiful, and the back is just like the front. All right, the last thing I do before I make my design is I want to measure this, and I want to see how big it is. And so I'm measuring the diameter, and the widest spot is 7 7/8 wide. So I'm going to cut my design just a little bit smaller at 7 3/4. Okay, I'm in Cricut Design Space, and I want to make a fairly simple design. Something like a split monogram that has our names in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just type a capital H. And then I want to use, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Starfish. Let's see. Yes, Starfish. And so that's kind of a fun H. H's are hard to do with split monograms because right in the middle is where you have this little crossbar. So you have to get creative and go a little bit low or a little bit high. So let's just see how this turns out. Okay, I want it to take up most of the space of the cutting board. So I'll take it up to, I don't know, about 6.5 inches. We'll start with that. And then this big swoop is going to cause me some issues, so I may need to narrow this or shorten it. I don't know yet. We'll see. Let me go ahead and get a circle that's the size of my cutting board. So I'll go ahead and size that to 7.75. And then I'll just turn it really light. Also, I'll send it to the back. So I'll click on Arrange and Send to Back. Okay, so I can start playing with this now. I know it's going to have to be smaller because of this huge swoop here. So let's make it a little shorter and then a little narrower. I don't want my H to be totally off-centered, so I'm going to have this really crowd this side. Okay, I'm going to make it taller and just move it up some, see what I get. Now I'll add some more detail kind of down here in the center with our names. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hide the circle for now. I'll click on Shapes. Let's get a square, but let's make it where I can have it be a rectangle. I'm going to make it really wide and kind of short, and just see where I can fit it in here. Now, like I said, H's are difficult. If you put it here, that looks silly. You have to be able to see this cross piece. So let's just make this shorter. So I think what I'll do is I'll make it as tall as I can without covering up this guy here. I'll select both of those and I'll hit slice. Now, this is all I want to keep from that. So I'll delete everything else. Now I want to go back to shapes and get another square. Again, I'll unlock it. And then this time, I just want a really wide and short bar. And then I'm going to place it just at the bottom of this part of the H. I'll duplicate it and place it just at the top of this part of the H. So let's make sure that our bars are touching the H. It looks like they are. Now I can select all 3 pieces of that design and weld them together. Okay, I'm going to bring back my circle and adjust it to where it needs to be. And I think I'll go with that. Okay, so now that I have my circle and my letter, I'm going to go ahead and select both of those and slice again. That will cut off the excess pieces on the right side and the left side. So here's what I'm going to keep, and then I'm going to get rid of all the excess. All right, so I go to text. I don't know if I want to use Starfish as the text for our names, but I'm going to try it. Okay, I don't like this at all, so we're going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go with my all-time favorite, Amelia. So I'll go ahead and type out Tim and Marilyn again, and then change it up here to Amelia. Now, just like the last one, these letters won't come together exactly the way they should either, but I will get quite a few of them in the right place. Now that I'm close, I'm going to ungroup them. And I want to move my Y over, and I'm actually going to move it up just a little bit. This tail is going to make it too tall if I have it down too far. And I don't think that'll look too funny. I think that'll look fine. And then my M needs to be moved over. I'm going to try to split the difference, have it going down a little bit and up a little bit. And then my T needs to be moved over. Then let's just try to get that a little bit more central. Now I notice that this tail goes down a lot further than the tail of the M over there. So I'm going to move it up. So I'll select all of that and weld it and move it up into place. Let me unlock it so I can just try to make it a little shorter. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me see what happens if I try to just center it using the center horizontally. Okay, that looks good. So I think I'm going to go with that for this simple design. I want to go ahead and attach everything together. Well, let me show you what would happen if I don't. I'll click on Make It. And our names aren't up where I want them. So now I'm going to select everything in my design and click Attach. That makes it to where it actually cuts on the mat the way you see it on your screen. I could either go ahead and flip these horizontally now, or I can go ahead and click Make It, and I can mirror it right here. Now I want to move this down just a little bit. I want the design to start down at the 1-inch mark and over at the 1-inch mark here. Okay, that looks good. So let's click on Continue. And then I'll browse the materials and just type in vinyl. I've used this vinyl before, and I'll select metallic vinyl, click Done, And then I want to go ahead and say I want more pressure. This vinyl is really pretty tough, and I think I need more pressure to get through it. So I'm going to make sure I have my fine point blade in and that it's clean, and then we'll watch it cut. Now, typically I would like to weed this kind of material on my mat because it really curls up, but I have so much extra vinyl on there that I don't want to waste that and weed it away. So first I'm going to cut around my design, then I'm going to lay it back down on the mat. Now this material is pretty tough. So poking through this corner, you have to poke so hard that you get through both layers, but then you can just pull it up and really go straight back over itself. Now go nice and slowly in case you have anything lift up that needs to be set back down. Now for my transfer paper, or my transfer tape, I'm just going to use this inexpensive contact paper. It's considered clear. It's not totally clear, but you can see through it to see where you're putting your design down. And I just want to start on one end of it, peel up that end, then I can lay it down on the side of the design, and as I pull the backing away, press down. Now as I'm doing this, I realize I forgot to put in the description or in my introduction that I'd be using a squeegee. You could use a squeegee or a credit card or one of those rewards cards. Any of those things would work. So I just really want to lay this down well on top of my design to get it to really stick to it. And I just noticed I didn't get everything weeded out. So let me go back and take that out. It may come up when I pull my paper up. Nope. I was in such a big hurry that I didn't even notice that. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip my mat over and just remove everything from it. All right, a lot of the times it's easier to remove the backing than to try to pull up the transfer tape with the vinyl. So I'm going to peel my backing back. Okay, I'm going to clean up my mess and we'll move on to putting this on the cutting board. Now here's the Rapid Tack. It's a 32-ounce container. I thought it came with a sprayer. It said sprayer, but it didn't, so I had to put some in this Ace sprayer bottle. Now, per the instructions, you're supposed to shake it up, which I did before I put it in my bottle. So I'll go ahead and shake it up some more. And then it wants you to clean your surface twice. And it says just use really cheap paper towels because cheap paper towels, according to their video, don't have things added to them. And then they said it was really important to clean it twice, and I'm going to follow all their instructions. Now the next thing I want you to do is spray the back of your vinyl design. And you have to get the whole thing, or part of it's going to stick down. And the purpose of this is, just like the wet method, to make it where you can move the design around until you're happy with it. So I gave it a liberal amount of spray. And then notice I can move this around. Oh, that scared me. I thought my words were backwards. Well, they are, because it's going to look like that in the end. Now I'm just checking to make sure there's no vinyl sticking over the side, because that's really what I don't want. Okay, I think that looks pretty much like the way it was supposed to, so I'm going to squeegee this down. And there's a lot of liquid coming out from under it. That's exactly what you want. So you're supposed to start in the center and work your way outward. Now I can see some bubbles, but my guess is the bubbles are actually between the vinyl and my contact paper. So I'll have to figure that out in a little bit. Now supposedly this concoction is supposed to help your vinyl bond even better to the glass. Now I'm supposed to wait about 90 seconds, and then I'm supposed to spray the top of the transfer tape and re-squeegee. So give me 90 seconds and then we'll start back up. Now before I spray this, I want to let you know I did see this on a YouTube channel. I think the man's name was Rob Zimmerman or Rod Zimmerman, and he used it on one of these cutting boards. You can get a small bottle with a sprayer for like $9.99, or like 3 or 4 times as much spray for whatever mine was. It was either $16.99 or $17.99. I'll link to it below in case you're interested. And he did say this is better than Windex or water with soap in it. I don't know. I just wanted to give it a try. So following the directions, I went ahead and sprayed more on top, and I'm re-squeegeeing. Now it says to remove the transfer tape at a 45-degree angle. And it's not stuck down yet. Okay, I'm going to try to clean my desk up a little bit and then put this on a fresh piece of wax paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and let it dry for a while. When I come back, I'll let you know how long I let it dry. Okay, now I've been downstairs working for a couple of hours, so let's see if this works or not. So you kind of push down on the vinyl as you pull your contact paper back, or your transfer tape back. It wants to lift a little bit, but if I can get this down without any bubbles, I will still consider this a success. Now you can see this lifted right here. All right, I'm really not sure how I feel about this Rapid Tach yet. All right, dried off all the excess Rapid Tach. Now, the really good news is there are no bubbles in this. The last time I made a cutting board with just adhesive vinyl, I was so frustrated because I could see bubbles all through it that I just ripped it off. There's no bubbles here. But this is not as easy as what the video makes it look like. Now granted, this is a different type of vinyl, and maybe that has something to do with it. So in my next video with this Rapid Tack, I'm going to use more of a traditional Oracle vinyl, and I'll see how that works. So I don't want to call this quite a success yet, but it's definitely not a fail. The product ended up looking perfect, but the process was difficult. So stay tuned, and I'll try this on some different vinyl. Thanks so much for joining me. Until the next video. Bye-bye.